I don't know what to say. Oh, man. There isn't a more frustrating team out there probably to be a fan of than the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, let's be honest. Going into this game, I said that a close loss I would be perfectly fine with. I didn't mean it this way. I didn't think the Bengals were going to be winning, 21-7 at the half, and even leading with a minute to go in the game, and obviously, 17 seconds left. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. I understand that. I get that. Aaron Rodgers is going to be Aaron Rodgers. It's the plays that led up to it that caused. That's what's so frustrating. Andy Dalton. Now everyone knows I'm a huge Andy Dalton fan. I'll always back him. Start off the game fantastic. He looked great. Play calling was great. It's the things that I swear. I mean, it's so tough being a Bengals fan. You start off the game, drive right down the field. Well done. And you looked good doing it. You get that momentum going. Then you score. Obviously the Packers, get one right back, tie it up, no big deal. Okay, but then you score again, and then right after that you get that pick six by William Jackson. Aaron Rodgers' only second pick six in his career, which is incredible to say, for a Hall of Fame quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. So you get that, like I said, you come into the half leading 21-7, and it was just, there was a couple different things that, led into it that it just, you kind of felt like, okay, depending on what goes on here, you could see, you could see like the way the tide was turning. First drive of the second half, boom, there you go. You could see Green Bay starting to get some momentum, and it just continued to roll. Bengals just couldn't get anything going. It's things like that that cannot happen. The play calling seemed, it just, the defense, they were different. The adjustments just did not seem to be made on, in the second half. I mean, Green Bay gets 17 second half points. It's things like that I've always criticized the Bengals about is the lack of adjustments in the second half. It seems like once they hit halftime, they just do not make those critical adjustments that you have to make as a coaching staff and as a team to continuously win. And it's cost them the playoffs. It's cost them most likely their season here this year. This was a game that they had to win, and you get the ball in the hands of Joe Mixon, who I think Joe Mixon, and I've always been a big proponent of his so far this year, including the preseason. He had 18 rushes for 62 yards, averaging 3.4 yards a carry. He was really held. He was kept in check in the second half. So good on Green Bay for that, for obviously honing in on Joe Mixon and keeping him down. And then he did provide three receptions for 39 yards. AJ Green was targeted a lot. He had 10 receptions for 111 yards and a touchdown. That's what we had to get out of A.J. Green. Andy Dalton, 21 of 27 for 212 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers by the team. It is what it is. But, it's the critical times in the game that is where you see the difference of this team compared to years past. You have Andy Dalton, who I think panics. He panics quickly, and instead of it was on the third down play where he had Brandon LaFell cutting across. Instead, he takes a sack there, and it's things like that. And we knew Aaron Rodgers, and that's what's really frustrating about some of the big plays that were made in terms of penalties, like the offsides penalties. You cannot have those. Aaron Rodgers and his cadence and his quick counts, everything like that, he gets defenses to jump every time. You have to be disciplined in those situations. You just have to. And it's cost us twice on big plays in the second half and in overtime. It's things like that you just cannot afford to have happen. You get a 12-man on the 12 men on the field penalty that wiped out a sack. It's things like that, guys. You have to be disciplined instead of these things cannot happen if you have any hopes to move forward and be a playoff team and win a playoff game. I mean, hell, even go to the Super Bowl. These things cannot happen, and it's been continuous under the Marvin Lewis regime. And you know what? We've been blessed to have Marvin Lewis in terms of he's changed the culture of this team, but he's not Bill Belichick. He doesn't demand that the style of play that I think is needed. And you can tell Marvin. That's one thing that just drives me nuts about Marvin Lewis. He plays, or not plays, but he coaches to not lose a game. His clock management, we all know how atrocious it is. That is the Marvin Lewis that that Bengals fans have been accustomed to. And that's got to change, whether it's a coaching change, which I think it's time. The season's lost. We are now, we're 0-3 on a day where the rest of your division loses a game. Here's your chance to get 1-2 and be right back in it. Now you're 0-3, and now you go to Cleveland, another 0-3 team who was right there against Indianapolis. They're looking for their first win as well. Do I believe the Bengals will get it? I think the Bengals will go on the road and win. Yes, I do. But it's games like this against the Green Bay Packers. You had them down and out early on, and you let them off the hook. That is the problem here. That is the frustrating part of it all, is when you let teams off the hook like this. I was on the couch cussing and screaming watching this game, and all you can do is shake your head and just say, wow, it's typical Bengals. But, it's not, if you look at years past, this is not the typical Bengals. Andy Dalton, I thought he played a great game today. Look at the stats, 21-27. Statistically, he had a great game. It's some of the decisions that he made, the decision-making and the panicking, that's what has to change. Obviously, just calm down a little bit. But things I did like, though, Joe Mixon, the dude's a professional running back. You watch Joe Mixon and the patience he has. When he gets that handoff, you saw a couple plays where, he'd go to the left side and stop almost, and then break it to the right, and then he gets 9-10 plus yards. That's a professional running back right there, and that's what the Bengals need. That's what they're not going to be getting from Jeremy Hill. Joe Mixon is a Jeremy Hill who was much more athletic, and that's what we need. Looking here at some of the drive charts here from NFL. Let's see here. See if I can get a couple. Let me see here. NFL website's kind of causing some issues here, but as Andy Dalton, he targeted, Joe Mixon with 3 receptions, Tyler Kroft with 3, adding another 28 yards. That kind of stuff, and Randy Bullock, he was 1 for 2 kicking today. He did miss the field goal after the Andy Dalton sack. Just things like that cannot. It's just those kind of plays that cannot happen. It's just, and they add up. Unfortunately, things tend to snowball with this team. I do have to give a big shout out. Carl Lawson looked phenomenal today. Played like his hair was on fire. That's how seemed like he was constantly, after Aaron Rodgers all day long. Darqueze Dennard, I thought, played very well. William Jackson with the pick 6, so good on him. It's frustrating. When you start off the game with a 10-play, 79-yard drive, and then right after that you kick it out of bounds to start things off. Right after that, And Green Bay drives down the field, 6 plays, 60 yards. But then the second quarter, that's when you get the 9-play, 60-yard drive for the Bengals with, culminating in the Gio Bernard touchdown reception there. And then the pick 6 by William Jackson, again, I was just crucial. But to start off the half with that 8-play, 75-yard drive by the Packers, again, Aaron Rodgers, and you could just kind of tell the momentum was starting to slowly flip into the green and yellow favor there. And then, defense, holds up, and then, you hold Green Bay on an 8-play, 52-yard drive. But then, you stopped them before, they could get in the end zone, and it's a 28-yard field goal by Mason Crosby. We answer right back with a Randy Bullock 46-yard field goal, I believe it was after an 11-play drive in the fourth quarter that took up 5 minutes and 57 seconds. But then, with the game on the line, I think it was like 3:46 or 3:42 when Green Bay got the ball back, they go 12 plays and 75 yards, and that's when they get the 3-yard touchdown pass from Rodgers to Jordy Nelson. Things like that just cannot happen. But then to start off overtime, you call a timeout to start off overtime. You've got to be kidding me. Things like that cannot happen. It's tough. It's tough to watch. It's tough that you want to pull your hair out, which I'm lost almost all of mine. So it's kind of tough for me right now, but, it's just a tough thing to deal with. But with that being the case, always be a Bengals fan. I'm never going to give up on this team. Unfortunately, they can drive you to drink or they can make you pull your hair out. But that's part of it, though. The talent's there. We can definitely turn this season around. Unfortunately, playoff wise, it's not. But let's get that momentum going into the 2018 season. And it starts next week. There were positive things to take away from this game. You have to build off those positive things, and again move forward into next week and see if you can get on a roll. We're going to get Vontaze Burfict back next week. You can definitely see that will help out our linebacking core, who I thought played well today. And for the most part. So these are just the initial thoughts. I'm going to need to sit back and kind of ingest everything and digest everything after I probably rewatch it maybe, and just kind of let things sink in and let it go. But I'll probably be coming out with another video in the next day or two. So we'll see. And as always, follow me at I am Chris Asbrock on Twitter, feeltheimpactsports.com. Well, I look to have a Bengals post game, either article or a video like this to get everything out. So again, thank you guys for your support. Again, check out feeltheimpactsports.com, and we'll be back next time. Thank you guys, and have a good rest of your night.